My dear brothers and sisters, good afternoon once again. Good afternoon. In today's gospel, we see Jesus giving instructions to the guests and the host. The setting of today's gospel is important. Jesus is at a Pharisee's house for a meal. Meal in the time of Jesus were more than just about eating. They were about honor, status, and relationships. Where you sat at the table showed how important you were, and people competed for places of prestige. So when Jesus notices guests choosing the top seats, he decides to give them an advice. Jesus tells the guests not to choose the prominent seat at the banquet, and he also instructs the guests, the host, to invite not only who can repay them, but also those who cannot repay him. Here, Jesus is not only giving an advice on social manners, but also is talking about a deeper banquet, the banquet of God's kingdom. He tells them how one should behave among others at a banquet is how one should behave before God. As guests of God's banquet, a proper attitude is not self-promotion, but humility before God. As hosts in life, if God has given us the blessings, we are not to invite only the wealthy, powerful, or influential who can repay us. We are also called to invite those who cannot repay us. Those are the poor, crippled, lame, and the blind. Why? Because this is how God has loved us. We are spiritually poor. We were spiritually poor, yet God invited us. We could not repay him, yet he gave us his Son. The banquet of God is not like our banquets. In God's kingdom, those who put themselves forward end up being at the last place. But those who serve quietly, those who kneel, those who know they depend on mercy, they are the ones God lifts up. Thus, my dear brothers and sisters, the gospel rightly points out the difference between humility and humiliation before God. They share a same root in Latin word humus, which means earth or ground. Both remind us to come down, to remain grounded, yet they are not the same. Humiliation is something that often comes from outside. It happens when someone else lowers us, mocks us, and strips away our dignity. It is painful. It can damage our trust and relationships. Humiliation makes us feel small against our will. Humility, on the other hand, it's a virtue. It is chosen freely. It is not meekness, but strength. The strength of knowing who we are truly before God. Humility is truth. The truth that all we have is received from God. And therefore, none of us can boast. Humility recognizes that we are equal as brothers and sisters, and that greatness comes through service, not through power. My dear brothers and sisters, humiliation is imposed, but humility is embraced. Humiliation lowers us, but humility raises us in God's sight. This is why Jesus insists, everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. My dear brothers and sisters, life is like a banquet. Every day we are invited to sit at the table of God's mercy. But the choice is ours. Will we push forward for the best seats, or will we choose humility, content to sit at a lower place, trusting that God Himself will call us higher at the right time? Charlemagne was the greatest Christian ruler of the early Middle Ages. After his death, a mighty funeral procession left his castle for the cathedral. When the royal casket arrived with a lot of pomp, it was met by the local bishop, who locked the cathedral door. "Who comes?" the bishop asked from inside the cathedral, as was the custom. "Charlemagne, Lord and King of the Holy Roman Empire," proclaimed the emperor's proud herald. "Him I know not," the bishop replied. "Who comes?" The herald, a bit shaken, replied, "Charles the Great, a good and honest man of the earth." "Him I know not," the bishop said again. "Who comes?" The herald, now completely crushed, responded, "Charles, a lowly sinner who begs the gift of Christ." To this the bishop responded, "Enter, receive Christ's gift of life." The book of Sirach says in the first reading, "The greater you are, humble yourself the more, and you will find favor with God." Amen.